Hello and welcome to Endless Mode. I'm Captain Emoji.
And I'm special guest T Stomach. No, not special guest, just occasional friend of the show.
I was gonna say, I think at this point you get to be a co-host today, as there's a delicate surgery on some Joy-Cons going on in the other room.
Also pancakes.
Also pancakes. Lots of things going on in the other room. Meanwhile, we're gonna have a fight over an important defining aspect of squid culture in Splatoon. We have a Splatfest today.
I know what all of those words mean individually, but I'm not 100% what they mean and all strung together. I'm not familiar with this property.
So, Splatoon, the little third-person shooter where you ink stuff, it's a territory control game instead of like a shoot man's game in the traditional sense.
Okay.
In addition to just the normal multiplayer and like single-player modes, they have events that go on usually about once a month. And right now, they have a competition where you sign up for a team based on whether you think money or love is most important.
Okay.
It's, February, so of course there's going to be some kind of Valentine's-ish theme.
Sure.
Each of the characters you saw there tends to pick a side and they argue for it. And then we get to fight it out for it. And then when it's done, they'll tally it up, and that's the decision that Squid Culture gets to make, is which one's more important. I'd say this is the most esoteric one they've done, because like before it was like ketchup or mayonnaise or like sci-fi or fantasy.
Okay.
Right now they're showing what stages we're getting, because there's a whole bunch of stages and they rotate out every hour. We tend to get 2 random stages, and then there is a Splatfest specific stage that only shows up for these events.
Okay. So we have to pick. We have to pick which team we're on.
Right, and then we fight for that team, and our wins and losses count towards that for the decision.
Okay.
Weird aside, do you read a webcomic called Floraverse?
I don't. I have heard of it.
There's an entire group of people that like that's how they decide things, is they get in a big fight and they draft people to their sides, and then after the fight's over, that's the decision.
I guess that's historically pretty consistent.
But it's like a for fun time combat thing, and everyone's friends afterwards. That's the part that's like sort of novel about it, I guess.
Okay.
So they're like singing idols. I think the name of the band is like Splatoon, but Tune spelled Tune.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. Gotta look at some of that good artwork. So people do this with their thumbs and fingers on the touchscreen on the Switch, and I have no idea how. Magic.
I feel that way. I run a website that publishes comics, and that's how I feel about any kind of visual art.
Right.
Some sort of just...
I do try to remember to link it in the description of most of the videos, by the way, because I actually like your comics.
Thank you. Is it going to be in the description of this video?
I will do my best, but we'll see what kind of... We'll see how much RAM I'm running on when I... Oh, I was about to go in there without picking a side. I don't even know what happens. So, I was discussing this earlier. I'm going to go with love, because that's just how I roll. I appreciate the pragmatism of money. Like, I appreciate what, financial security does for one's well-being. I do. But the core tenet was, it's like, would you rather be, like, rich but alone, or, like, be rich with friends and penniless? And I'm like, well, I'm kind of experiencing one of those, and it's not too bad, so I'm going to go with love.
I was actually going to say that money is a poison eroding the very fabric of our society and our souls. So yeah, let's go with love.
Okay, so we're in agreement then. I was hoping I didn't have to make too strong a case, but I wasn't sure.
No, I watched Star Trek. I watched every episode. Like, money is garbage.
Oh, and so each of them picked a side. Oh, I hate the zoom on this thing. You'll notice they're wearing the team colors. So Marina, the gal on the right, is wearing pink for Team Love, and Pearl, the chibi one there with the little crown, is on Team Money.
Okay.
And when it's all over, they'll actually like talk a little trash and be like, "Yeah, our team won or lost or whatever."
Based on all of based on all of the fan art that Mysterious Gamer X retweets of those two, I had actually managed to work that one out for myself based on context clues.
That's fair. So there's a wide variety of weapons. I was going to suggest we go with something relatively straightforward. How do you feel about machine guns?
I am opposed to machine guns, but like this is a fun video game, so I guess I'm indifferent.
They don't hurt anybody, if that makes you feel better.
It does a tiny bit.
Okay. Oh, and notice we're wearing our Team Love t-shirt. See?
Oh.
Yeah.
You get a nice little outfit.
Oh, the clothing in this game is fantastic. I have spent a lot of time, like, grinding matches specifically to buy cool gear.
I'm of the opinion that any game that does not let me play dress up is a bad video game.
I'm a fan. I mean, like, that's one of my favorite parts of Monster Hunter is trying to get, like, a matching armor set or something. I love the new one because I don't even have to do that. Yeah. Like, if I want to pick this helmet and that pair of pants and, you know, sandals or whatever, I can do it.
Sure. I've been really enjoying your guys' Monster Hunter videos, by the way. Those are a lot of fun, and everybody should watch them if they haven't already.
Well, thank you. Character creation always takes the longest, but I think that the new system, the new graphics, everything really added to the experience. I didn't feel like there was anything it wouldn't let me get away with, which was nice.
Yeah.
I've seen some people make some really, really nice-looking things, and then I've seen some, like, grotesqueries running around. Someone made Frieza from Dragon Ball Z using the makeup and the tone and just having a bald character that looked very old and wrinkly. And I was like, wow, good job! I mean, I don't know if that's what I'd run around punching dragons as, but why not?
I think that my favorite thing that I saw about the character creation was somebody posted that they spent about 5 minutes making their dude look using default faces as close to them as possible, and then spent 3 hours making their Palico look exactly like their cat.
Oh, that's fantastic. I do love that you can actually customize your sidekick character, because there have been characters like that in other games, either Palicos or like little like wood sprite characters. But you've never really gotten a ton of options on how they looked. At most, you might be able to put a different hat on them or something.
Sure.
So being able to choose like color and pattern and stuff was very fun.
Alright, so looks like we are about to do some murders. Some teen murders.
And this one actually matters, because the other team is Team Money. Sometimes a team will be short-staffed, let's say, and so they'll put you against the same team that you're on, and that match just doesn't count for the totals, because, well, one team will lose and one will not lose.
Right. That makes sense. I mean, in a kind of bummer way, but it does make sense.
Oh, darn, you get to play the game. Like, I have a hard time feeling too bad about it. Sure, it doesn't count for the Splatfest, and maybe you have a really good match, but, in the end, I mean, it's all about having a fun time. That's what all this is about. It is a game for funsies.
Right. That is controversially what video games are all about, is having a good time.
I know. We like to put out all those really controversial opinions here in 2018.
I mean, I opened with a hard take against currency, so I don't know what I'm
So I just got splatted there. If you get covered in the opponent's ink color, you do disappear for a bit and respawn.
All right.
But you're fine. The left trigger lets you turn into a squid. If your color ink is on the ground, you get to move super fast, and it recharges your ink tank. Okay. Which, if you look on the back there, you can actually watch my tank deplete in real time. It's a really clever way to let people know how they're doing on that.
Yeah, this is a very...
and, like, your health bar is, like, how covered in the other color ink are you?
This all feels very... organic.
Yeah.
Like, it's very organic game design. I like
no, like, a lot of it tells you what it's doing without having to, like, walk you through it, which is really nice. Like, there isn't a whole lot of tutorialing happening. There is a tutorial, a couple of stages. By the end of it, you know everything there is to know about the game, except how, like, individual weapons work. And from there, it's just, you know, play the game, have fun.
There's also a pretty extensive single-player, like, platforming campaign, yeah?
Oh, yeah. We've been playing through it. The Octo Canyon run, where you're actually working with characters from the first game.
Okay.
Which is some fun bit of, you know, continuity. They were also idle characters, like the Marina and Pearl. They fulfilled that role in the first game.
Sure.
They also worked against the Octolings, which are octopus people. And,
because you can't have a shoot-man game without a race war.
I mean, I guess? I don't really know how hardcore the war is. I guess it's kind of like this. It's a bunch of war game I mean, I just don't know how seriously I can take... They did steal a power source. There is an energy crisis thing going on, I guess. But at the same time, you fight with paint weapons, everyone gets back up afterwards. I don't know how seriously I can take it as a serious conflict.
Oof.
This is not something I'd want to have a gritty reboot of, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Fair enough. You guys got
the judges are adorable cats.
And you are always the good guys, I take it.
Always. Yeah, no, that's how that works. Hey, I was at the top of my team. I didn't think I was actually doing that well.
Yeah. You got a couple of people, and it seemed like you,
I certainly tried to cover a lot of ground.
Yeah,
by the way,
you were playing the
taking
objectives.
out enemy players, it helps in the sense that they're not inking for a bit.
Sure.
But it doesn't give you any points. It doesn't help the match in any grand sense. Covering ground.
Now, am I right that you need to, like, back out of the lobby to
if you
change your loadout?
They did add a little menu there that I clicked out of because I didn't think about it.
Okay.
Where you can actually back out automatically now. But yes, you used to have to back out of the room.
Okay.
I don't know when they fixed that. It was some random update, and I was like, oh, hey, that was a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, they listened to all of the people going on Twitter and saying, why?
Yeah, because that was something that I'd heard a lot about this game, was that...
There aren't a lot of negative comments, and so the ones there are really do sort of stand out.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm going to hand this
dear.
to you.
Okay, I guess I'm going to play the Shootmans. The one type of video game that I do not own. The only Shootmans game that I've ever really been terribly interested in buying and playing that is just a strict Shootmans game is Spec Ops The Line, which, I mean, everybody knows about Spec Ops The Line by now, I think, but it is the anti-Shootmans game.
I would argue this is the anti-Shootsman game, because I also am not well-versed in them. I mean, I've played a few here and there, and I've had enough friends that were super into them that I would at least try to mimic a passing fancy in it, I guess. You know, I mean, I've played several of the Halo games, 4 or 5, I forget which one I checked out on. And then I have played some Call of Duty, and I've played some other stuff. We actually did the demo of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, where we judged people for being in their combat gear for a parade, or for, like, an office meeting. And we found out that there was a robot character, and he was pretty much the saving grace of all of the dialogue options. But yeah, no, definitely not my typical jam. But I have willingly sat down and played this game for hours, not just for, like, the channel or anything other than, hey, I'm not doing anything right now, I can play a couple of quick Splatoon matches. Why am I not?
Sure.
And I know, left bumper lets you go into the ink, and that lets you, get ink back. That's fine. That happens. I mean, it happens to me a lot.
This one doesn't count, so...
Yeah. That works out perfectly, actually. But yeah, when your ink starts to run out, or any time that you need to move quickly, if there's ink in front of you, you can squid form through it. Oh, if you hit those, they'll expand. They're like big art sponges. I pretty much find anytime that I'm not inking stuff, I'm trying to move around as quickly as possible in the squid form.
Sure.
Both to refill your tanks, and to make sure that you're, you know, not getting left behind on the map.
Yeah.
Because it's a high mobility game. That big bar on the top right, if you click in the right thumbstick, you will activate your super. If you start pressing the right trigger, notice how it says bombs away? If you start hitting that button repeatedly, you'll shoot these little curling stones that shoot out ink.
Okay.
You did that, and you used your special. You can actually get a pretty good number of them if you just mash that button. The other thing that's really nice is it refills your ink instantly when you use your special. So, I sometimes do it just because it gets me my ink back without having to refill it. So, that's just handy. The right bumper, just above your, you know, shooty finger.
Sure.
I love the technical terminology here. That'll let you throw a grenade, as long as you have enough ink. That's what that little fill line on your backpack is. As long as you have at least that much ink, you can throw a grenade. That can be useful for, you know, clearing an area, or sometimes I'll just lob them in a direction if I know there's a lot of stuff over there that I just can't get to right now.
Sure.
Plenty of reasons to do it. your grenades do take a lot of ink, so I don't tend to use them a lot, but it's a useful option to have. So, those guys have rollers. They don't have a lot of range. They can, like, fling paint, but you have more range than they do, so staying away from them is usually the best option, but they're just as fast as you are, so that's easier said than done.
Yeah.
I actually really like the brushes and rollers, because they're great support, because, well, they cover a lot of surface area really quick.
That makes sense. Oh, that's a tarp of some kind.
Yep. There are some surfaces that can't be inked. I actually think it's kind of funny that, like, drop cloths and tarps are ink-proof, because, I mean, well, like, that makes a certain amount of sense.
Okay. That was kind of fun. Oh, whoa.
Your team did real good with you.
My team did real good. Wonder, let's see.
But yeah, any percentage of ink that, notice that doesn't add up perfectly to 100, because there are areas that didn't get inked.
Right.
They didn't do a terribly good job of inking their back ranks, probably because you guys pushed and they didn't have time.
Yeah.
But that is a fun thing about it, is that inking your back rank, getting the spawn area and that stuff, a lot of folks forget about it. And it can make a huge difference, because sometimes you'll win by, like, see, you can change gear here.
Oh, okay.
And maybe after another round, we'll swap out gear or something.
Sure. Yeah, that was something that I saw when I respawned that last time, as I noticed there were a few places in our back ranks that weren't inked, and I thought, well, that is probably bad.
That's just giving up points, yeah. But I mean, it's not exciting or glamorous to, mop up the back area.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think everyone figures they'll do it next time they respawn. Because those areas are pretty safe, generally don't get inked by the other team terribly much.
Sure.
Just because it's hard to get that far back, and usually the spawn area itself is on some raised platform or other surface that you can't get up to.
So it looks like there's a leveling system for how much we love.
Yes. This thing loves leveling systems. It's kind of all about it.
Okay.
There is your gear, which every time it levels up, you'll get a new piece of equipment on your gear, like a new skill that your gear has on it. There is a level system for the weapon you're using, which determines how much XP you get per win, because you've, like, achieved mastery over that weapon.
Sure.
And then during the Splatfests, there is a level based on how much we have fought for love.
Okay.
We just started out, because we've been busy doing other things. We just got the clear case on the Switch, like, moments ago. But you'll see people who are like love champion or love king or queen, depending on whether they're a guy or gal inkling.
Right.
And
uh-oh.
Yeah, everybody just blazed ahead and said, "No, we'll get that later."
Oh, I thought that person was AFK.
Oh, that does happen sometimes. So, but you do the best you can. Sometimes it happens. I figure it happens roughly equally to everyone, so on a large enough scale, it balances out.
Right.
Yeah,
and I feel like this has a lot of emphasis on mobility, not just horizontally, but also the verticality.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's how you get up walls and stuff, is by inking them, so that you can do your squid form. Go forth, my children. Oh. There's the other team. Hello.
It's Kev.
With the NZAP 85, it looks like the little zapper for the original Nintendo, which is fun. They have a variant of it that's the orange one, which is the version I had as a kid. It comes with different equipment, but it's basically the same gun otherwise.
Right.
Because the guns actually change what your special is and what your grenades do. So, like, our grenades are a sticky bomb. That'll sit there for a second and then pop.
Sure.
Some other folks get a single curling stone as their...
Oh, more than one, it looks like.
Could be that he used his special, which my special is just a whole bunch of grenades, basically.
Yep.
Or it could be that they are just sitting over there, getting enough ink, and then throwing a grenade every so often.
Right.
I have been known to do that if I can't press forward, if it's like just me, but I don't want to back off. Can't say it's always the right choice, but every so often, it pays off if someone else shows up in a minute.
Now, is that person using some sort of sniper rifle?
Yes, there is a charger. It takes a second to build up ink, but it can shoot much further. it's not great at covering a lot of area because it's very vertical.
Right.
Or, it's very linear. It'll go in one direction a whole lot. I'm actually pretty rubbish with it, if I'm being honest. It's just not how I play this game.
It doesn't seem like it'd be super helpful for the territory control aspect.
I mean, I've seen some people do great things with it, but yeah, mostly it keeps the other team at bay, which does have a purpose. If the whole team is having trouble getting past a certain area, it does help with the territory control part, provided your team supports.
Right.
But I'd much rather get basically an SMG and run around and, mop up.
Sure.
Or a brush. Brushes are actually pretty fun. Maybe we'll swap out to one of those, just to, change of pace.
Yeah. I do not think this is going terribly well for you.
No, it's been pretty one-sided for a little bit now. They've got solid control of their back rank, so it seems like they're playing around in ours.
Ooh, yeah. Jeez.
That happens.
And again, it wasn't one of the important ones.
Yeah. That's all you can hope for is that you win the ones that count.
Yeah.
The matchmaking does a pretty excellent job of keeping the games pretty evenly matched. Because as we win or lose matches, we'll tend to get paired up with people that have a similar record.
Okay.
So these Splatfests usually only get won by about a percentage point or two.
Yeah, I guess law of large numbers. Nothing but brownie and motion really deciding it.
Basically. But I think that's the way it should be, honestly. So it usually comes down to, who voted the most. Because, I mean, if one side did vote for a thing just that much more, they usually end up winning in the end.
Sure.
But let's go ahead and swap out weapons next time on Endless Mode.
Okay. See you then. Like and subscribe. Tell us in the comments what you think the best gun in Splatfest is, and give me information that will go completely over my head. See you then.
Catch you later.